Hello everyone, this is Ajin here. So today I'll be talking about the toughest and the trickiest part in EmberJS, that is communication in EmberJS. So we have various communication, that is component to component communication and controller to controller communication, as well as component to controller communication, controller to component communication, and also I'll be tackling about parent component to child component communication, child component to parent component communication. So let's look at the communication diagram. So if you look at it, we know that Ember is a component driven architecture. So we would have a lot of components which interact with your view. In turns, these components are stitched together to form a view, and you could have multiple views stitched together to form a screen, right? So I'll be tackling about first and foremost thing, that is child to parent communication, right? If you look at an example, we could have a child component which needs to talk to your parent component, the parent component which in turn needs to talk to your parent view, that is your parent controller. This is quite possible using send action API. Send action API has two parameters. That's the first parameter is your action and the second is your data, what you need to pass. So if you look at send action API, right? So send action we can just pass the action what is required, and this action would be basically be calling the respective API within your parent. So let's talk about that. So I've created a basic app, right? The app comprises of your parent and parent. There are two views, that is parent 1 and parent 2. Parent 1 comprises of various components, that is child 1, child 2, child 3, and parent 2 has a component called child 4, right? If you look at the child 2, child 2 is the that is child 1 acts as a parent of child 2, right? And child 1 and child 3 are siblings, and child 3 and child 4 doesn't have any relationship because they belong to two different parents, right? So the first and foremost task, so we'll talk the first task. The first task would be to communicate between child 2 to child 1, right? So how do we do this communication? Let's assume a real-time scenario. We have an API in child 1 which has to be triggered from child 2, right? So how do we do this? So let's get to the code. So we'll move on to child2.js. So currently we don't have any actions associated with the JS. So we'll assume that we need to call the parent. So API will be called parent. This in turn would send action, and we'll call the action to be call child1. Right. So that's the action what we have expected. And when we'll trigger this call parent action, right? So what I will do is I'll bind a click event to the child2 itself. So we'll go to the HPS and I'll have an action, basically an action called as call parent. So this would be defaulted to a click event, and I say bubbles equal to false. So just to verify it, we'll just forward it dash and we'll look at the action API. Okay, we'll get on, traverse down a bit, and we should have a property called bubble is equal to false. So just okay, good. This is bubbles equal to false. That's the boolean what we're looking at. It's bubbles. Okay. So what does this do is it avoids event bubbling. That's it. Huh? Well, I'll just call the call parent API, and call parent has an action called send. It's called child1. So what we're going to do is go to a child1, right? This is where the magic happens, right? So I'll say call child1. This is the action what I'm trying to trigger. This in turn should have an action which it has to call. Let's say call me. What this would do is, this in turn, call child would trigger the action call me. So I'll just go to the child fun.js. I'll create an action call me. Good. Let's say hello child one call. Let's check this piece whether it works or not in the browser. Cool, we don't have any errors in the console, so let's try to click child 2. Awesome. So we could get a child 1 call, so we could call from a child component to the parent component. So that seems to be working. So let's verify, can we pass data? Right? That's a crucial part. So let's move ahead here to child 2. I would love to pass some data. So child 1, child 2, private data. Right? So this might be a private data of your child 2. So let's just check whether this data you received or not. Okay. Data. So let's go ahead and click this. Oh, I was able to access the private data of child 2. This is okay, awesome. We got a child to parent communication. So we'll try to do the same for child 1 to parent 1. So we know the rule now. So what we have to do is go to our child 1, right? So the child 1.js. What I would do is call parent as an API. Well, rename it actually in child 1.js. This in turn should call this.send action. Okay. And I'll say call parent 1. Okay. So this is the action API. So I'll give a parent 1 that is inside the templates, parent1.xps. So I hold this, and this is where I have my child 1. I say call parent 1. So what I'm trying to do is I'll have an action call me. Perfect. So let me save this and go to my controller parent1.js. Okay. Let me have actions. Let me say call me as an action. Okay. Let me just create function. So parent1. Awesome. So we got this piece and we go to our child and we have this piece as well. But we don't have an action over here, right? We'll just go ahead and write an action. Called parent. We'll make it bubbles false so we don't end up having any event bug. Cool. So let me go to our child 1.js to have call parent, and let me go check this piece. It doesn't work. Awesome, parent 1 call. So I was able to call an API of parent 1. So we were able to achieve the child to parent communication. So here the child 2 was able to communicate to child 1 and child 1 was able to communicate to parent 1. So we got the first piece working. So we move the next piece, that is parent to child, and traversing downwards, right? That is, I think, the most important piece. So let me get my slide. So we are trying to tackle parent to child communication now. Right? So we spoke about child to parent, the previous case or the scenario. Now we'll talk about parent to child communication. So I'll take topmost, that is your parent is going to be parent 1, and we'll go down towards the child 2. Right? So this is the communication what we are expecting. Okay, so what we can do now is, so go to the parent 1. So as you see, it's stuck. So we will be using the set API to basically do this trick. That is, set is going to hold your key and a value. So how do we do this now? So if you create a parent 1, but there's no relationship as of now to your child. And how does your child know about the parent 1, or how does it? So the first and foremost thing you have to do is go to your child, that is we'll be talking to child 1 first. Within your child 1, I'll just write did insert as an API. This will be called once your DOM element is inserted. That is on did insert element API. This is something like a jQuery on ready. So what happens is once your DOM is inserted, this API gets triggered. So what I do at this point is I say this dot set. I'm going to set self, that's this. So your key is going to be, the first value is going to be a key. The key is going to be set parent 1. So parent 1, I could say parent 1 reference. So this is going to hold the parent 1 context, or I could say as the context. That makes more sense. So parent 1 context, and the value is going to be this. This is going to hold the complete context itself, right? So I'm going to hold this dot parent 1 context here. Sorry, I'm just going to hold child 1 context. So I'll just run this for child 1 context, right? So this is what is a YP server. So now I need to pass this to my parent, right? So the parent can call the child. So how do I pass it? So it's a very cool trick to calculate. So what you need to do here is go. So hey, I'm going to create a dummy property called voice, which is child ref, child context, child 1. Child context, and this whole will hold the child 1 I'm holding here. Okay, and I'm just referring this to what is that with the child 1 context. So now I am expecting a child context, and I've already set the context to child 1. So when I cascade down child, whenever the did insert element happens, child is context is going to hold child 1 context. Hope this makes sense. Okay, so let me get a parent1.js and try to have an API called child 1. So I just need to call child API. So I just do have the reference to this dot. I can initially set this value of child context to null, and once the value is properly there, I'll call it this dot get child context dot call me. So I'm going to call that. If you can call me from here. Hope this works now. So let me go to code piece. Batteries. So let me click next. Okay. There's an error. Let's get the source code. And this will be parent. Okay. I just always forgot this piece. The parent doesn't have communication now. So let me just have this action. I just almost forgot. Call child 1. Just say problems false. And first check in the check. So let me paste this. I'll click it. I think I got a bug now. Should depend action disabled because that's the true thing. Good, so I've just committed this. Child context, so child 1 context. What did I do? Okay, I believe I just have to do the vice versa. That is open there. So let me do a child one. I just believe that I'm doing set pointer. So this does happen after the down is inserted. So, okay. So child